पंजाब केसरी नवोदय टाइम्स में आज हमारी खास मेहमान है वो एक्ट्रेस जिन्होंने कमर्शियल फिल्म्स हो या स्पेशल प्रोजेक्ट्स, ऑफ बीट प्रोजेक्ट्स या फिर इंटरनेशनल प्रोजेक्ट्स, सब में अपनी क्रिएटिव बाउंड्रीज को पुश किया है, दर्शकों का दिल जीता है। बात करें तो वेरी वर्सेटाइल एंड टैलेंटेड राधिका आप्टे की, हु इज हियर टू एंटरटेन अस वंस अगेन विद हर लेटेस्ट फिल्म Z5 पे, मिसेज अंडरकवर। सो राधिका से ऑफ कोर्स इसके बारे में बहुत सारी बातें करेंगे, बट सबसे पहले राधिका, अ वार्म वेलकम on our platform.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So it's a pleasure talking to you because you're one of my personal favorites. क्योंकि आप जब कोई भी प्रोजेक्ट करती तो it doesn't look as if you're acting. It looks really that आप वो किरदार वाकई हैं.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
So now tell me, Mrs Undercover किसकी कहानी है?
Mrs Undercover actually is a story of all the women we, not all, but most of the women we know around us. हमारी माँ हो या relative हो या aunt, friends, घर पे जो आती खाना बनाती है वो हो, जिसको ये सब लोगों को जो हम we take them for granted, and we don't give them the due credit that they really deserve. And I think, yeah, it's a story of them really, and how they're so much more capable, and we just, it's such a typical thing to say, right? Just a housewife. Even, and I think it's so sad because women who are housewives, if you ask them what do you do, they also say that, oh, I'm just a housewife.
Right.
So it's so demeaning for them to be that, and it shouldn't be. It's, I think, far more difficult, and people who do housework know that it's really hard. And to do that every day routinely, it's extremely hard. No credit.
Exactly. And I so agree with you because ट्रेलर में जितने डायलॉग्स थे, वो ऐसा लग रहा था जैसे, स्पेशली दिस वन, शी इज जस्ट अ हाउसवाइफ, वो ऐसा है कि किसी भी हाउसवाइफ को सीधे जाके दिल पे चुभेगा, बिकॉज उसको ये बात न जाने कितनी बार कही जा चुकी होगी. एंड देन द डायलॉग्स ऐसे कि तुम हाउसवाइफ नहीं हो, तुम दुर्गा हो, बिकॉज अ वुमन हैज सो मच मोर पावर, बट वो पोटेंशियल रियलाइज नहीं करती.
Yeah, absolutely. And she's a person, and she has sacrificed all her dreams and desires to feed you. And I think हाउसवाइफ को जो क्रेडिट है वो देना चाहिए, पर दूसरी चीज ये भी है कि मुझे लगता है कि जो हमको we brought up in a certain way, in this in a just a traditional way where we think कि ये हमारी ड्यूटी है, और ऐसा लगता है कि ये करना चाहिए, यानी इसके लिए, इससे मीनिंग है लाइफ में. आई फील दैट अगर आप अपनी सुने और हमारे ड्रीम्स को भी फुलफिल करने की इच्छा रखे, उसमें कुछ सेल्फिश नहीं है. It's okay to want something else in life and not want to do the typical things that we are just told to do.
Right. So your character Durga here is, I think she's that quintessential Indian woman जिसका नाम दुर्गा नहीं भी है, she will relate कि लाइफ में उसके कुछ ड्रीम्स थे, जो एम्बिशंस थे, उसने शायद शादी के लिए, घर बच्चों के लिए छोड़ दिए, भूल गई है. And with your character getting back to being the special undercover agent, I think वो बहुत relatable हो जाएगा कि यार हम भी थे, we left all this, so we can also get back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's never too late. And as I said, like, there's Durga and every woman really in that context, it's I think it's a really relatable character. Really relatable character. Completely selflessly devoted to the family.
Right. But tell me more about Durga here in Mrs Undercover. Who is she? How is she? क्या character traits हैं उसके?
I mean, she's somebody who was a agent, is a force undercover agent, right? And then they forgot about her. And then she was an undercover, got married, and then she just waited for these guys to get in touch, never did, and now she has a family. And now they've come back. So she's a bit like, what? You've insulted me, you've left me behind, and now I'm a mother and I have a child and I have a sasuma, and what are you talking about? And I don't even remember what I did. So it's like, it's basically that old dream coming back to her, and the opportunity coming back to her, and also realizing where she is, what she's doing. And then it's a nice, I think, the choices she makes, right? And it's her journey, I think, about discovering self-worth. Because constantly being criticized by her husband and just Samaj. I think that's what the film is about for me.
Right. And how much could you relate to her character? ऐसा कुछ था where you said, I'm this person, I'm also this person, and then some parts, Radhika is not Durga?
I mean, I personally was very lucky to be brought up by very progressive parents. Although I see some traits of this in my own family or my extended family or my friends, luckily I was actually quite like I knew that I'm never going to be with a person who'd even remote. I don't even have friends who treat me like that. Like I wouldn't stand
Yeah.
people like that. Sometimes in work you've got to choose your own your battles, and you sort of tolerate a few people for a bit, because it just I think it's really all about what you making small choices. But so I was quite lucky. But I think what I do find relatable in Durga is, as you said, we're not one person. We're multiple people inside. I think I'm also this and I'm this and I'm this and I'm this. And I think that's very interesting for me. I anyway have dual life. I live my life in Mumbai is very different from my life in London, and my life actually in Pune is very different as well. And I'm a completely different person in these three places. And also when I'm acting, I'm very different. When I'm not performing, I'm very different. And I like to accept these different multiple personalities, and also give myself chance to be sort of taken out to these different directions. And I think that's what I really do relate with her. And I think self-worth, we all lack self-worth, and it's always a journey. I think our life is a journey of finding that and loving ourselves at the end of the day.
Right. But if I'm watching the trailer, and I'm sure the film also, there'll be so many parts that I love about the film. But when the script came to you, आपके लिए वो एक या दो reasons क्या रहे to say yes to this?
Script came to me literally some three weeks before the shoot, because they were delayed. But I was just given a very brief narration of what the film was about, and I said yes because I liked the germ. I like the idea of it. I really liked the whole housewife angle. I liked that it was a comedy spy thriller. And so, yeah, I just liked it. And I said yes to do it. Basically, there's just a genre, as I said, the characterization, the innocence of this woman, all of this.
Yeah, and one thing which is very noticeable is कि हमने spy movies देखी हैं, but उनका जो flavor होता है, obviously it's very thriller and serious based होता है. But this is, I think, uncharted territory, at least India में, कि spy comedy है ये. So what was the experience shooting for it? Because I think it must have been a really good ride.
Yeah, it was a good ride. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's funny, so it's not like very realistic or anything. It's quite silly and it's quite clumsy, and she is clumsy, and it's you have to watch it for that. You have to watch it. It's a good mix of commercial with certain things that really mean a lot to Anushree that she wanted to talk about. So it's a great mix of that, I think.
Right, and this film also has been shot during the pandemic.
Yes.
So how was that experience? Because obviously आपने outdoor भी काफी shoot किया है, but amidst all the restrictions.
We did. We tried our best. I mean, in a country like India, it's really hard to maintain all of that, right? You're outdoor, you have so much crowd, and you have so many people, and then testing everybody. It's just, I think, it was hard. It was scary. COVID was scary. The use of plastic was scary. So I think both these things really were difficult to tackle.
Right. And is there some behind the scenes or some moment from the shoot during the filming of it jo memorable hai, which you still carry, and maybe you can share with us something that you still remember?
My God, this is going to sound awful. I don't remember much. I think I don't know. I just think that the last act, the action sequence in the beginning, actually we shot it at the end, but it's the beginning sequence that she's dreaming about this thing. I think that's the one that I remember the most, where I was wearing this cat suit, and I have a lot of BTS from that day when I couldn't look more clumsy. Trying to put these boots and like trying to get it out and then trying to eat while doing that. It was absolutely clumsy. So we made a BTS video of the clumsiness in real life versus the slick action on screen. So that was quite funny, because I think all these are my first proper action sequences. So I think that's what I remember the most. But sorry, I
And
don't.
is this the action sequence that was shot? Probably you had very less time to shoot it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
because about this, Anushri has somewhere said that, she's very scared and skeptical because she had limited time. But the
yeah.
way you and everybody else managed, she said that is when she realized that why people call Radhika a one take artist.
She calls me that. Nobody else calls me that. No, 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 no. It's not true. We had a very little time. We had no rehearsals, like zero rehearsals, like just on the spot. We don't have time. It's going to be day now, and if to finish, and it was just very last minute. And I wish I did have rehearsals, because certain things you get better when you just do it the second day. Yeah, that's it. You need one day at least to do them, But I didn't get it. But we did it. It's fine.
Right. And, we live in a patriarchal society, as we've spoken about it. ये film में भी वही, दिखाया गया है. But do you think now the times are changing, or maybe the palette of the audience is changing, that we love more films which have, the women is taking it on her shoulders?
I mean, half the population that watches it is women. So I think it's only fair if that starts happening, right? At least, I mean, women should enjoy that. But yeah, I think so. Now it's more, people are more accepting of the fact that women centric films or series will also be watched and be commercially viable. And more women are producing, women are writing,
Right.
and they're behind the camera. And more women in the society are coming out and working and fulfilling their own dreams and desires. So it's an overall wholesome change, really.
Right. And also one more change, there was a time when OTT had, it was still spreading its wings, at least India mein. And at that time, you were called the poster, girl or poster woman of OTT. Cut to today's time, where you see so many actors and so many, Bollywood celebrities wanting to be a part of OTT. So what do you think is this big reason for the sudden change here?
I mean, I find this whole image thing a bit of a unnecessary thing anyway. I think in the beginning, people didn't want to go on OTT because it was
right,
equivalent to television. I don't know what the thing was, or nobody knew what it was going to be. And so I think people were a bit reluctant to do that. And they were film stars and they wanted to create and maintain their image. What sells? You want basically to reach more audiences. Then COVID happened when theaters were closed down. All these things contribute, I think, what is being consumed more. And then that's why now I think everybody's doing it. So yeah,
right.
if the Hollywood people start doing it, then everybody wants to do it. So I just feel like, okay.
Right. But Radhika, what makes you prioritize when you're choosing your scripts? Are you very picky or choosy, or you go with your gut feeling?
I mean, I've always maintained that I choose scripts based on different needs you have at different points. Sometimes you need commercial viability. Sometimes you just want to do something that's purely for your creative satisfaction. Sometimes you want to be well compensated monetarily. Or sometimes you want to just work with somebody no matter what the content or project is. So I'd always try and I have a balance. So I sort of do all of them. So in a year, if I'm doing 3 or 4 projects, I know one will be for money. One will be purely because I want to do it, whether it's not paying me or anything. And then the other will be mix of different things. So it's always sort of trying to have that balance. But I'm generally now taking less work.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, I used to have like multiple projects on constantly, 365 days working, no day off. And I can't do it anymore. I really can't do it anymore.
But that's not a good news for your fans. People love to watch you on screen. Wherever it is.
Thank you.
No. So you should, do more work. Obviously, take time for whatever you are. This is I'm speaking as a fan myself. Because
thank you, but I just feel like I don't know. I think there's so many other things also one needs to do, and I think to get some inspiration from, like, you need to also engage in other activities. It's just becomes otherwise like a rat race. You're constantly working like a robot.
And when next are we seeing a film that is scripted and directed by Radhika?
I'm also waiting. You tell me. I'm also waiting for somebody to just come and say, here's the money, do what you want to do.
Okay, so let's throw it out in the universe, and may the universe listen and get it all to you.
Yeah.
Radhika, jate jate, what is the one message that you would say to your fans who love your work, and as I said, who want to see you more and more?
I'm just very, very touched and grateful that you spend such precious time of your life in watching what my work is and what I do. Yeah, thank you for that, and keep watching work. I don't know. I mean, you inspire me. You really do, and that's a lot of reassurance in what I do. It sort of gets validated. So thank you for that.
And thank you for entertaining us in so many ways that you do. And please keep entertaining us. And thank you so much for your time for this interview.
Thank you. Same. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.